So we're live here on Periscope, and for people that are watching this on replay on Periscope as well as replay on Facebook, you won't be able to see, well, people on Facebook won't be able to see the hearts and the comments that people will be saying hello to us on Periscope. Thanks for the love. Hello, Thriving Force, how are you? So we're talking to people around the world on Periscope, and today we're going to talk about why your lab results could be lying about your thyroid health. Just waiting people joining. Thanks for the hearts, everybody. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. We're going to get started right now. And Dorella is saying on my way to my endocrinologist about 1 hour from my daughter. Yeah, so we're going to talk about hormone health, thyroid health right now. Thanks for the hearts, guys. Keep them coming. So I'm Dr. Will Cole here. I'm a functional medicine practitioner out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where we see patients around the world via webcam and phone consultations through our virtual functional medicine practice. So it gets people personalized functional medicine care where maybe they don't have that in their local town. So thanks for the hearts, guys, that's joining here live on Periscope. People on Facebook, again, like I just said, you're not going to see that down here below, all the comments and love and hearts that we're getting from people on Periscope. Today we're going to talk about thyroid physiology. I mean, there's millions of people that are going through low thyroid problems. Around 1 in 8 women in her lifetime is going to suffer from a low thyroid problem in her lifetime, and many go undiagnosed, or even the diagnosed ones don't respond very well, at least long term, to synthetic hormone replacement drugs like Synthroid or levothyroxine. So why is that? How can you have normal thyroid labs and still have symptoms? How can you still have low thyroid symptoms despite normal labs? I think that's the question. So someone's asking here, Blessed with Grace. Hi, Blessed with Grace is asking about Armor Thyroid, which is a natural alternative to Synthroid. It comes from pig thyroid tissue, and it's a blend of T4 and T3 and T2 and T1 thyroid hormones. But ultimately, we have to ask the question, why do I have these problems? Why do I have these symptoms? Low thyroid symptoms in the first place, which is for anybody, it's not a medication deficiency that's causing these hormonal problems. So every cell of your body has a thyroid receptor site. So it is the only hormone other than vitamin D that can claim that importance in your body. Every cell of your body depends on the thyroid hormone. It's your body's gasoline. It's what fuels your body. So it can literally affect almost every issue, every system in your body. So everywhere from your brain to your temperature, to your nails, to your hair, to your digestion, to your mood, the temperature, all of these systems can be controlled by the thyroid hormone. So when the thyroid's not working well, nothing is working well. And we ultimately want to find out, okay, how could I have a normal TSH? How could I have a normal lab but still have thyroid symptoms? So again, if you're joining here, just click the hearts down there just so I know you guys can hear me well and that the audio and visual video is doing well. Good. So the first thing that we do in functional medicine is that we run more extended labs. So typically in the mainstream setting, they're going to run a TSH, or thyroid stimulating hormone, and a T4, which is the inactive thyroid hormone. So that's a really good question. Bill 370 is asking, what's an acceptable TSH level? The range from the lab acceptable seems so wide. Very good segue, Bill, and I appreciate that because that'll be what we'll talk about right now. So on the first thing that we do different in functional medicine that they don't do typically in mainstream medicine is that we interpret labs that are run. The ones you have from your endocrinologist or PCP, we interpret those labs different using a thinner optimal range. So in your lab, you have what's called a reference range, as Bill just pointed out here on Periscope, and it's typically from 0.45 to 4.5. That is a big range, and Bill kind of astutely observed that's a huge range. How do we get those reference ranges? Not just with TSH, but any biomarker. We get a reference range from a bell curve statistical average of the population of that particular lab. So that means if you go from lab to lab to lab, that reference range may vary because that population is varying. Other than cholesterol and vitamin D, which are standardized, that those biomarkers, all of the biomarkers, are averages. Someone saying hi from Brazil. Hi, hello, Brazil. How are you? So who are people that typically go to labs? We have to ask that question. It's typically sick people. So if people going through symptoms and they want to find out why they're going through what they're going through, and their labs come back normal and your doctor says you're fine, and you're still going through symptoms, something's not being addressed here. And what your doctor's really saying in effect is that you're a lot like the other sick people that make up the population of this reference range here. So we have to kind of dig a little bit deeper and find out what's the issue here. And oftentimes it's just the interpretation of the lab that's already ran. So we use a much thinner optimal range. Where's the body functioning the best? That's the functional range, or the symptom, where people aren't having symptoms. Someone's asking here, what symptoms are you referring to? So it could be depression, it could be anxiety, it could be weight gain, it could be cold temperature, hair falling out, thinning hair, brittle nails, digestive issues, skin issues. These are all can be in part due to thyroid problems. So when researchers took people with known hypothyroidism out of that equation, the optimally healthy reference range for TSH is actually around 0.45 to 2.5. And interestingly enough, a reference range, research showed that a reference range, TSHs of 2.5 to 3.5 was shown in one in one study to show to be a 69% greater risk of dying from a heart attack and stroke with a normal, quote unquote, normal reference range TSH. So you can start seeing here that we have to look at the much thinner. Where are healthy people at? That's going to be a lot thinner range than that larger reference range. Yeah, so someone said they have reference ranges in 3.5, 3.59. That would be outside of the functionally healthy TSH. You're not sick enough to be given Synthroid, even though they can give it to you based on symptoms alone, but you're not sick enough to get a pill typically, so you're basically left to fend for yourself. You're typically told you're just depressed, here's an antidepressant, you just need to lose some weight, you're just getting older, that's why you're going through these problems, and there's no real explanation other than kind of hanging their hat on these issues. So ultimately, I missed the question there. Someone asked that. I'm sorry. So number one, in functional medicine, we interpret labs that are ran using a thinner, healthy range. So this is all on our website. If you go to drwillcole.com, that's drwillcole.com, and you can just type in the search engine thyroid labs, and you're going to be able to see every lab you want to have run and how to interpret those labs. These are important information for anybody dealing with hormonal problems. And then the second thing we do different in functional medicine, again, Rascal Rodeo is asking, what do you suggest to help the thyroid? We're going to talk about that in another video. It's a little bit more complex than what I have time for right now. But what works for one person is going to work for the next person. So we have to really tailor it down to what their labs say, what their health history says, what is the details of that patient's case. And there's no one size fits all when it comes to getting healthy from thyroid issues. Thanks for the hearts down here, guys. So again, I'm Dr. Will Cole for people who are just joining here. I know some of you are just joining. And we see patients around the world via webcam and phone consultations. We offer a free webcam or phone health evaluation to kind of get a functional medicine perspective on your case, and we offer that on our website, so you can check that out. So then we have to look at running more extended labs. Someone's asking, do you accept insurance? Some insurance can offset the cost of labs, but it's not going to cover functional medicine entirely. But 100% of our patients are working class, normal, healthy, normal people that want to be healthy. We make functional medicine accessible. And then the second thing we do differently in functional medicine is that we run more extensive labs beyond just the typical TSH T4. We also have to look at the free T3, the free T4, the total T3, the total T4. So these are the inactive and active forms. So oftentimes it's not even just a thyroid hormone production issue, it's a conversion issue. So they're not looking at, is the body converting that inactive to active thyroid properly? Where does that thyroid hormone conversion happen? It happens in the liver and happens in the gut. So we ultimately need to look at these issues beyond just the typical basic stuff, guys. And then ultimately, we have to look at thyroid antibodies, which is super important. So thyroid peroxidase antibody and thyroid binding globulin antibody, these are antibodies that attack the thyroid potentially. We don't want that to happen, but oftentimes it is very, very common. Someone's asking me questions in Russian. I really, I don't know this. And thank you so much, Bill. So thyroid peroxidase antibody and thyroid binding globulin antibodies are antibodies that we all produce to some degree, but high levels of it are indicative of some sort of autoimmune spectrum problem. So the most common being Hashimoto's disease or autoimmune thyroiditis. The American Endocrine Society says upwards of 90% of low thyroid function in the West is at least somewhere on the autoimmune spectrum, the most common being Hashimoto's disease, but there's also Graves' disease as well. And we also want to look at reverse T3, which is an inactive form of the thyroid hormone, meaning your body is producing the thyroid hormone, converting it into higher levels of this unusable form of the thyroid hormone, which is often caused by high stress levels, high cortisol, and chronic infections, inflammation issues. And then someone is asking after the consultation, what's the next step? Diet is part of it. Every food you eat is going to create more problems or dissipate those problems. So we want to look at optimal nutrition. We want to look at cofactors that support conversion as well as nutrients to help dampen inflammation, toxicity issues, healing leaky gut syndrome, which is a big factor to thyroid physiology and conversion and autoimmunity. Yeah, I missed that question, Bill. I'm sorry about that. So if you're dealing with low thyroid symptoms, the number one step is you're going to want to interpret the labs that are run using a thinner reference range, and we put all the reference ranges on the website. And number two, you want to run more extensive labs to look at underlying issues that are not being addressed right now. And the reason why they're not being addressed right now is because you get Synthroid or levothyroxine no matter what. So it's superfluous lab testing to the mainstream doctor. They don't need to run it. Their job is to give the Synthroid out. But we want to find out, okay, why do we have the problem in the first place? And that's where functional medicine comes in. So we're not replacing the PCP. We're not replacing the endocrinologist. They're going to manage the medication, but our job is to find out what is our root issue in the first place so we can get healthy and manage these symptoms so we can move on with our life. So if you want more information about this, I want to kind of keep this kind of short. I know I've been kind of talking for a while here. For more information about functional medicine, you can check out our website and check out the consultation page if you want to talk about your case specifically. All right, guys, have a great day, and we'll talk to you next time.